Kevin Kogan, Man Cave Classroom in A10, and what we're going to be analyzing today is the ultimate pep talk pregame speech.
Yeah, it is.
Of all time.
The Newt Rockney of wartime speeches.
Of course, this is given by General Dwight D. Eisenhower just before the D-Day invasion. So we actually have like an actual document. We're going to kind of break that down for you. I know we have a nice cleaner one we're going to be looking at, but I like to imagine it, you know, as it was probably found in some soldier's uniform.
Yeah, probably in the top left pocket, keeping it close to your heart.
Yeah,
you know,
with that last love letter from your girl.
Yep.
What is interesting though, that kind of caught my attention was, you know, when we look here, we got the Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force, and then, you know, we have a patch, and I thought it was kind of interesting to just kind of take a look at these uniform patches, because when you're looking at the Army and when you're looking at the Air Force, currently, they'll have unit patches. And then they'll have, it's part of, like, I guess you could say, morale.
Yeah.
Unit cohesion. And of course, you know, when you look at how they're designed as well,
there's a message there.
Yeah, there's a message. Usually, I don't know how it's decided. I mean, you have dozens upon dozens of unit patches, especially when it comes to the Army, because you have engineers, you have infantry, you have snipers, and all that. And the same could be said with the Air Force with different ones. So
what's the symbology here?
When you're looking at the symbolism with this one, it was pretty, they had a purpose. And there's going to be quite a few of them that do have purposes when you're looking at unit patches. Guys who fly compared to guys who are fighting on the ground, there are going to be different purposes. But the interesting thing with this one, which is going to give you an idea, and you see it right on Eisenhower's shoulder here, it'll give you an idea just how detailed and how thorough and how important this mission is.
Yeah, and they didn't just throw this together.
No.
You know, it was like, all right, let's put a flaming sword with a rainbow because it looks good.
So, I mean, there were certain things that meant something. You know, you have in the background the black representing, you know, the Nazis.
Yeah.
Of course, we have the Crusader sword right over here. Flames are rising from it, leaping up off the blade. The rainbow as well, when you're looking at this is going to represent all the colors of the Allied nations that are involved. And then,
when I was reading that before, it reminds me of the Olympic flag.
Yeah.
The 5 rings of the Olympic flag, each one is a color that represents some color in a flag of the countries that participate in the Olympics.
So it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, completely overanalyzed the letterhead here. But, you know, when you're getting into what the D-Day invasion is going to mean for the world.
Yes.
This really becomes important. So this was a letter, a message that went out to any soldier, anybody participating, airmen, Marines, everybody who's participating in this. So here we go. Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force. You are about to embark upon the great crusade towards which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. Imagine being like an 18 or 19-year-old.
I mean, I got chills just reading it now.
Exactly.
You know, so there's the Crusader sword.
Yep.
You know, first sentence, this great crusade. Now the Crusades, the Holy Wars,
absolutely,
to recapture the Holy Land of Jerusalem. But now it's really to recapture Europe.
Yep.
From the oppression of the Nazis, of Hitler's reach of power throughout Europe.
And when we go over to like ELA skills, and you're looking at author's purpose. Oh. You're a general that has to get this out to thousands of sailors, soldiers, and airmen. And here's the thing, you know, when you're thinking about 18, 19-year-old guys, I mean, where's our attention span? You have to keep this to a page.
Yep. You
have to be pretty direct. You have to really state your purpose as well. You also want to also inspire here, because you have to consider your audience. What is it about you're about to embark on? Because we know after this invasion, a lot of them didn't make it home alive.
Nope.
And the ones who did, you know, emotionally scarred or physically scarred from it.
You know, and there, so like in that first sentence, towards which we have striven these many months. All right, so the planning, the preparation that goes into the invasion of Europe, northern France and Normandy, and then he's kind of like, hey, the ball's in your court now. we, the commanding officers, have done our planning, have done our preparation. Now the eyes of the world are upon you. You're the ones that are going to be landing on the beach fronts. You're the ones that are going to be jumping out of airplanes that were traveling way too fast, by the way, because the pilots were scared.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in their first missions. You know, it's you're the saviors, really. Like, you're the ones who are going to do this.
And I'm glad you keep bringing up the eyes of the world are upon you, because every year when they do the anniversary of this, you know, this speech is often quoted, but the thing that does come out that's in quotes is the eyes of the world are upon you. It is up to you.
Yep.
Men, young men in their late teens, 20s, it's up to you.
Yep.
Get through it. And of course we got into
And it's not going to be easy.
No, it's not.
The German war machine, which has been building up for the past 9 years at this point, has conquered most of Europe. They are in the process of invading the Soviet Union and having victories in the Soviet Union. Will be turned around, but I mean they're conquering the world right now.
Right.
So, you know, we are about to have the fight of our lives on our hands.
And the importance of opening up this second front, because you're talking about the Soviet Union and the Eastern Front, this is it. This is our entryway into Europe, and this is how, you know, if we can't get through, that's it.
Yeah.
And of course, the Germans are going to be fighting this defensively, so, you know, they are prepared.
They've got the high ground.
They've got the high ground, a lot of advantages. So let's go on. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940 and 41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like there's so much going on here.
This is your locker room speech.
Yeah, this is halftime.
This
is halftime of the war, although it's chronologically
Sure.
speaking, we're much further past the midway point of the war. But it's like, hey, all right, the Nazis, they had the first half of the war.
Right.
You know, they won the first half, but this war's not over. This is 1944. This is the fourth quarter of the war, and we're going to go out there. Our Air Force, after the Battle of Britain, we're winning the skies.
Yep.
We are winning the skies. Our men, our women, our Rosie the Riveters on the home front, they have given us the weapons, the tools that we need to win the war. I think Churchill even said once, give us the tools and we'll finish the job.
Yep.
You know, that the home front here, you know, we are there. Exclamation point, the tide has turned. We just now need to get a foothold on the ground in Europe to be able to win this war. And like, spoiler alert, from June of 44 till April of 45, it's less than a year.
Right.
From the time we actually invade Europe till the time the war's over.
I mean, just the thought process here. It's like you have to sit down and, you know, in one page, pretty much.
Yeah.
You have to really convey.
I'm ready to go jump out an airplane.
You're right. Purpose, mission, everything. And
we will accept nothing less than full victory.
And when you're talking about audience, you know, you have to tell these guys, you know, what you're fighting for, what's at stake. I mean, and then when it came to, and of course, you know, when we talk about audience, it's you have to really get it into this young guy's mind, you know, what it's all about on this particular day.
And these guys, these guys who are going to be doing this, they are much closer in age to our students,
Right?
than they are us.
Right? Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, if you're a middle schooler,
Sure.
if you're an 8th grade student in 1941 when the Japanese attacked us at Pearl Harbor, you very well could have been invading the beaches of Normandy 3 years later. As a 17-year-old, because there were many men who lied about their age just to get into the military.
Just to get into this.
My wife's grandfather being one of them.
Right.
So, like, yeah, it just awesome.
I mean, here he is, you know, leading up to it, you know, going out, greeting the soldiers. I know they gave him ice cream. That's like one of those things as
very
well.
General Washington-esque.
Yes.
You know, that although Eisenhower wasn't actually fighting there, but like going with your men, being there with them to pump them up for what they're about to do.
I mean, the thoughts going through everybody's mind in here. You know, it's just like, you know, you're talking to somebody who's probably not going to make it back.
Yeah.
And then here he is, the elder statesman. Of course, we know that Dwight D. Eisenhower winds up going to become president.
Two-term president.
You know, years later at the D-Day or Normandy cemetery right there. And just to give you an idea of what was at stake.
And even what's going through his mind.
Right.
Like as the commander in chief now, and as the commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force then, like he's the reason these men are dead.
Right.
You know, this was his decision.
Yep.
Where we invaded, when we invaded. You know, had to be done.
A lot of pressure.
You know, had to be done.
Lot
And
of
the
pressure.
decisions that generals have to make during war, they recognize that there are pawns in a chess game that are meant to be sacrificed, and there are soldiers that are meant to be sacrificed. But this was,
How many years does this take off your life? You know, you know what I mean? I mean, to have to go, just carry that responsibility.
even like, okay, so he wasn't actually fighting the war.
Right.
But the PTSD of the decisions that
Sure.
he made and the lives that were lost because of those decisions.
Well, we go back to Lincoln as well. You know, he wasn't actually fighting the war too, but you know, you look at the beginning of him in 1860, and by the time it was 1865, his face looked like a catcher's mitt. You know, there is that stress, and you know that will take time off of your life,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Great speech. Oh,
Great speech.
all right.
But letter, not really a speech, but great.
Right, yeah, right.
Great. You get the point.
Yep. We need anything else here? Thanks for watching.